Cities of gold. And y'all ready to watch some cities of gold? You know, we got to talk Charles Kento. This Naga hijacking the Naga, right? Nah, man. This was a snake hijacking the dragons. Or, you know, is this Inca line tied in through this Batik Khan, you know, Kublai flow? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what's really happening in the takeover? Right now, we're talking the first European emperor of the Inca. He's not the first European emperor, and he's not the first European, but this is what they looking like. Yeah, man. Yeah, they tried to recolor them, but we see what they looking like. Black old King Charles. Here we go. Charles V. I said Charles V. Holy Roman Emperor, right? So as we get into this Esteban, keep Charles V in mind. 1500s to 1558s. You got Esteban popping off 1530s. This is what King Charles V, who's pushing the line on you Nagas in America, is looking like. You already know what Estebanico looking like. I mean, go get the drop. We're going to continue in our Cities of Gold series. You know, Esteban no more, you know what I'm saying? Say no more, right? Yeah, Charles, I hear you had something to do with this circumnavigation stuff, man. Yeah. Charlesy boy had something to do with circumnavigation. Well, you know, it starts with the Straits of Magellan talk, this navigable sea route in southern Chile, separating mainland South America to the north and Terra Fuego. I'm talking Tarazanta to the south. So they're able to cut right through South America, right? And we've seen different depictions of this with the Amazon flow, the Negro River flow. The strait is considered the most important natural passage between the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. So just like over here, you could cut right through this tip, you know, Terra Fuego to the south. Now we're talking about worlds beyond the poles, right? You might say, why would the Spaniards need to cut way down here, man, and this tip of, you know, South America flow when Spain is way up there, man, you know? It's just an interesting flow. It has a lot to do with this South Africa, you know, situations. You know what I mean? I mean, look, you remember that Portuguese monument of Prester John, right? I mean, the Portuguese is popping off right around here, you know. Charles got, you know, some type of push going on, you know, with these, you know, seafarers coming out the Portuguese seaports, some type of alliance going on that's pushing them out this South Africa flow. They're cutting right through this Straits of Magellan flow right through South America, coming up on whatever lands they want to discover, right? But you know, here's the separating point. So you can get to the other side by cutting right through the Yucatan flow, or maybe that just, you know, was just too much for them, you know. You know, maybe the tribes there, they didn't want that type of smoke over there. So they said, you know what, let's cut through this nice opening down here. And now we can pop out on the Pacific Ocean side. They just talking circumnavigation. I mean, black ass King Charles is talking circumnavigation, man. First discovered and first traversed by Europeans. Europeans, yeah, right. These are Europeans, Malak. The subsequent European emperors, right? Subsequent first European emperor of the Inca. I'm talking Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, right? Charles Kento. Keep him in mind, man. Okay. So first traversed by Europeans by the Spanish expeditions of Portuguese explorer. So these Portuguese explorers were still under the crown in Spain. It's a Spanish expedition, but it's regarding or including these explorers of Portugal, right? So this is why they're cut in this direction. Ferdinand Magellan in 1520, after whom it is named. So who named it Magellan? Prior to this, the strait had been navigated by canoe-faring indigenous people, indigenous Nagas, the Indians, right? Including the Kawa Zar or Kawa's car. Okay, because they getting closer to Patagonia and Terra Fuego. Magellan's original tribe or original name for the strait was El Estrecho de Todos los Santos, Strait of all the Saints. The Strait of all the Saints. The King of Spain, Emperor Charles V. Here we go. This is what it looked like? Or is this what it looked like? What about it? What about Charles? What about him, man? What about him, man? Oh, yeah, we got to get it. We got to get down into the Charles story, man. So the King of Spain, Emperor Charles V, whom sponsored the Magellan Elcano expedition, changed the name to the Strait of Magellan to honor Magellan. Changed it from the Strait of All Saints to the Strait of Magellan to honor Magellan. Okay. You know, it's very interesting stuff right here, man. I mean, the Magellan Elcano expedition, like, we're going to get to that, just the route is difficult to navigate due to frequent narrows and unpredictable winds and currents. Maritime piloting is now compulsory. The strait is shorter and more sheltered than the Drake Passage. The Drake Passage. I mean, the Drake Passage, sounds a lot like etymology, dragon passage, man. Because Drake is dragon. And what do dragons have to do with Terra de Fuego? I mean, we're just talking about the Straits of Magellan now, but was called the Strait of All Saints. And now you got this dragon passage. And okay, I mean, let's just connect the flow. Because we just want to see clearly. We know the etymology of a dragon is to see clearly. I have seen to see clearly. I see the light. I see clear. Or the one with the glance, deadly glance. It's deadly to the hijack that you see clearly. That's why we call it a dragon flit eye perspective. But we're just talking Drake, right? Yeah, man. Just talking Drake. Yeah, Draco. The dragon to see clearly. So what is this Drake passage really about? Just throwing some questions at you. The Drake Passage is the body of water, dragon passage between South America's Cape Horn, Chile, and the South Shetland Islands of Antarctica. Yeah, we're getting into the Dragon Passage. The Dragon Passage. It connects the southwestern part of the Atlantic Ocean with the southeastern part of the Pacific Ocean. So this dragon is connecting both waterways. You see all these lines underneath this dragon passage, man. That means there's a lot of land underneath the water. All right, but King Charles, he's sponsoring the Magellan Elcano passage. Okay. This Magellan Elcano passage has everything to do with the voyage around the world, the first voyage around the world. You know, if you're on the ball spinning, you think this is circumnavigation around the ball earth, right? They're going around the ball to prove they're on the ball, right? Blasphemy, man. Let's go. All right, so it was supposed to be the first voyage around the world in human history. It was a Spanish expedition that sailed from Seville in 1519 under the command of Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese-born explorer but naturalized Spanish in search of the maritime path to East Asia. Where's Asia? Where's Asia? Through the Americas and across the Pacific. Concluded by Spanish navigator Juan Sebastian Elcano in 1522. Elcano and the 18 survivors. So not everybody survived this voyage, man, of the expedition, were the first men to circumnavigate the globe. So this is what the, those that believe they're spinning on a ball, would use to prove that they're on a ball, because it was circumnavigating. This is really cool because it's going to go into our flat drop, because we got flat drop 101 coming in hot. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to imagine, a lot to stretch your mind bones around. So did this prove that they were on a globe? And if Elcano was the navigator, why is it called the Magellan? The Magellan. Apparently he finished the voyage. Now, said the Spanish fleet, the Armada de Molucca, that left Spain on the 20th of October, 1519, consisted of 5 ships, 270 men. And you telling me only 18 people survived? But they started with 270 men? Trinidad under Magellan, Captain General St. Antonio under Juan de Cartagena, Concepcion under Gaspar de Quesada, Santiago under Joao Sorreo, and Victoria under Luis Mendoza. And as we dig on this cartoon, Mendoza's a main character, man. And he's the one that Esteban is supposed to be up under, while he's over here in America. He got his own intentions for the medallion. He got his own intention for the gold. After crossing the Atlantic and wintering in South America, the expedition navigated the Straits of Magellan, then crossed the Pacific to the Philippines. The Philippines. Following Magellan's death in Mactan, Philippines, 1521, Juan Sebastian Elcano took command of the ship Victoria, right, that was under Mendoza, sailing back to Spain across the Indian Ocean around the Cape of Good Hope. Let's get it. And north along the west coast of Africa. The circumnavigation was completed by Elcano and his crew of 18 men in Victoria, returning to Spain nearly 3 years after they left on September 6, 1522. 3 years, man, right? So what did they do? Did they go around the ball? Did they take off and cut through the Strait of Magellan and pop out on the other side of the ball, man? If I wanted to circumnavigate Africa, how would I do that? I would go in the circle around Africa to circumnavigate Africa. If I want to circumnavigate South America, how would I do that, boss? I would go in a circle around South Africa. So I'm just showing you the orientation. They got you thinking that, these people are going, just popping out the other side of the ball and returning to the other side. From a bird's eye view of circumnavigating a circle We'll be drawing a circle around any point. Now they want you to think it's looking, oh, well, before we get that deep, just get it back here. So they got some route from Spain and Straits of Magellan, and somehow they're popping on the other side of the ball and cutting through past Australia, back up to Africa, back to the same point. Goodness gracious. That's circumnavigation in Hijack City, we about to get to this cartoon, but we are talking about a little flat drop right now, man. Circumnavigation is very interesting. It is not possible to draw, or it is not possible to travel in a perfectly straight line for very long without a navigational aid. It's not even possible to drive down a long length of highway without turning the steering wheel left or right. So the question is, can we circumnavigate the earth by traveling in a straight line without a navigational aid? This is from the Flat Earth Society wiki.tfes.org. Just talking about circumnavigation. When one navigates, hands-on control is paramount. You wouldn't find a ship captain in New York pointing his vessel in the direction of London, turning on cruise control, and then taking a 3-week nap in the lower decks. Who knows where he'd end up? When it comes to planes, ships, helicopters, etc., no craft has the ability of traveling in a perfect straight line without the operator adjusting the craft with regards to visual terrain, compass readings, or what have you, So when it comes to, this circumnavigation, we can see clearly that you're not going to go in a straight line and just pop out on the other side. And, nor are they even trying to act like they're traveling in a straight line. And I mean, this is an interesting clip right here from Eric DeBay, just digging on circumnavigation. And let's just see what he got to say. Hey, fair use in your caboose, Bone. First of all, hold up, man. Copyright disclaimer section 107, Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purpose of criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that otherwise might be infringing, man. Fair use, man, okay? We're just getting some teaching, some scholarship, and some education. And then we're going to talk some cities of gold. Right now we're talking about the Straits of Magellan and circumnavigation. And really, man, we're just surfing a wave, man. Let's go. Eric DeBay, take the wheel.
Ability for ships and planes to circumnavigate, to sail or fly at right angles to the North Pole, and eventually return to their original location. Since the North Pole and Antarctica are covered in ice and guarded no-fly zones, however, no ships or planes have ever been known to circumnavigate the Earth in north-south directions, only east-west. And herein lies the rub. East or westbound circumnavigation can just as easily be performed on a flat plane as it can on a globular sphere.
Okay.
Just as a compass can place.
So they belly fly right into this Magellan conversation, man. That's why I wanted to get some of this Dubay talk. Okay. So this is the route they saying they took, right? Let's go.
Center point on a flat piece of paper and trace.
Uh-oh, boss. Uh-oh, boss. Once you adjust your map projection, back to the equidistant as a muzzle, or equidistant as a muzzle, or as a muzzle equidistant, AE for short. Like I said, how do you circumnavigate Africa? You draw a circle around Africa, man. To circumnavigate the Earth in this map projection from a bird's eye view, you would literally just be basically drawing a circuit, you know, a circuit around these particular land masses. And they're not even including Australia, so they didn't even do that. So while it looks like on the Mercator projection that they are just popping out the other side of the ball in the AE or aquidescent azimuthal or azimuthal aquidescent projection, which they call the flat earth projection, but this is an old, ancient map projection. This is the same map projection on the UN map, man. So stop playing. Stop the play. It's the same map projection as on the UN map, man. This ain't no play. Just put in UN map. It's the same map projection as on the UN map. Con. Yeah, man. We're just talking circumnavigation. So this AE map projection is the same as on the UN map, man. Look it up, man. Where Antarctica is the barrier. And we've talked about the openings. And we're bringing all this up because Charles V sponsored this around the world thing. Oh, Charlesy boy. He's the one that's getting behind this voyage around the world. King of Spain, Emperor Charles V, sponsored the Magellan Elcano expedition, which is this first voyage around the world. Got it. And on the Mercator projection, it would look like this. Like they're just popping out east to west. But what they're really doing is looping around, boss. But they're not showing you the full circuit, are they? Are they, boss? Yeah, boss. Got him. Hey, Flat Earth 101. We coming in high.
Circle either way around the pole. So navigate a flat Earth. The only kind of circumnavigation which could not happen on a flat Earth is north-south bound, which is likely the very reason for the heavily enforced flight restrictions. Flight restrictions originating from none other than the United Nations. The same.
Here's the map projection, AE. Same one. So all they're doing is going around in a circle, boss. You're not on a ball. This is just a circle depicting a part of the Earth plane. And the target is right here, right? The target is right on us, right? And they're just going in a circle, boss, and not going, popping out no part of the ball. They're just going in a circuit, boss, and not going straight, boss. They just said it's impossible to go straight. So they have all these squiggly lines on their Mercator projection, but that's not the real map projection.
United Nations, which haughtily uses the flat Earth map as its official logo and flag. David Wardlaw Scott says, circular sailing no more proves the world to be a globe than an equilateral triangle. The sailing round the world would, of course, take very much longer, but in principle it is exactly the same as that of the yachtsman circumnavigating the Isle of Wight. Let me give a simple illustration. A boy wants to sail his iron toy boat by a magnet, so he gets a basin, in the middle of which he places a soap dish or anything else which he may think suitable to represent the earth, and then fills the basin with water to display the sea. He puts his boat and draws it by the magnet round his little world, but the boat never passes over the rim to sail under the basin, as if that were globular, instead of being simply circular. So is it in this world of ours. From the extreme south, we can sail from east to west or from west to east around it, but we cannot sail from north to south or from south to north, for we cannot break through intervening lands, nor pass the impenetrable ramparts of ice and rocks which enclose the great southern circumference.
Hey, Eric the Bay's popping off. We gonna get into the circumnavigation, but as they're kicking ideas of grandeur, popping out the ball, circumnavigating the world. What about Antarctica? Is Antarctica not a part of the world? They just go, nah, I don't want to talk about Tarzanta, boss. Oh, you circumnavigated around Africa, South America. You just left out Holy Land. You just left out all this land. Boss, I think you on some play, boss. Oh, I went all around the ball, boss. I proved I was on the ball because I just went this way and popped out on the other side. Nah, boss. There's a lot more land. You see how it's curving up? That means it's circling. It's going in a circuit. This land on the, you know, on the boundaries. This boundary land. It's just really interesting, man. That they think they circumnavigating something.
Samuel Rowbotham says, a very good illustration of the circumnavigation of a plane will be seen by taking a round table and fixing a pin in the center to represent the magnetic pole. To this central pin attach a string drawn out to any distance towards the edge of the table. This string may represent the meridian of Greenwich, extending due north and south. If now a pencil or other object is placed across or at right angles to the string, at any distance between the center and the circumference of the table, it will represent a vessel standing due east and west. Now move the pencil and the string together in either direction, and it will be seen that by keeping the vessel or pencil square to the
no cap on Antarctica's chest bone.
string, it must of necessity describe a circle round the magnetic center and return to the starting point in the opposite direction to that in which it first sailed. So the ball earther's logical argument is that only a globe can be circumnavigated. The Earth has been circumnavigated, and therefore the Earth is a globe. This is indeed a logical modus ponens statement, but the conclusion is rendered invalid because the first premise, that only a globe can be circumnavigated, is categorically false. Another similarly logical but unsound argument ball earthers make is that only on a globe would one gain or lose time when sailing or flying east or west. Time is gained or lost when sailing or flying east to west, and therefore the Earth is a globe. Again, the logical conclusion is rendered invalid and the argument unsound because the first premise is incorrect. The same effect would be experienced on a stationary flat Earth as it would on a spinning ball Earth. William Carpenter says, the sun, as he travels round over the surface of the earth, brings noon to all places on the successive meridians which he crosses. His journey being made in a westerly direction, places east of the sun's positions have had their noon, whilst places to the west of the sun's position have still yet to get it. Therefore, if we travel easterly, we arrive at those parts of the earth where time is more advanced. The watch in our pocket has to be put on, or we may be said to gain time. If, on the other hand, we travel westerly, we arrive at places where it is still morning. The watch has to be put back, and it may be said that we lose time. But if we travel easterly so as to cross the 180th meridian, there is a loss there of a day, which will neutralize the gain of a whole circumnavigation. And if we travel westerly and cross the same meridian, we experience the gain of a day, which will compensate for the loss during a complete circumnavigation in that direction. The fact of losing or gaining time in sailing round the world, then instead of being evidence of the Earth's rotundity as it is imagined to be, is in its practical exemplification an everlasting proof that the Earth is not a globe.
Bang! Hey, Charles, you wanted to pop out on the other side of your ball, man? While you digging on the Straits of Magellan? So yeah, now we can see a little clearly, man. When they're popping off these Portuguese, out of South Africa, man. looking for the Prester, man. Just remember, first of all, what they're looking for. Right. This monument said what? What it say on it? Oh, now they're trying to hide it. Now they're trying to hide it, man. What they say on this thing, man? Hey, I'm glad y'all get to witness this, man, because look how hard they try to make it just to read what's on this monument. Normally it just pops right up, you know. Was written right here. And now it's just unreadable. Oh man, these people, man. These people. Why would they make it so unreadable? So impossible. Now the images is far away. Look at this stuff, man. I'm glad y'all get to witness this, man, because y'all been surfing the wave a long time, man. And you see the changes in this, this internet. You see the changes in Google, man, and all this stuff. Wow. In memory of the seafarers. Farers, something like that. Farers. Searching for Prester John. Portuguese. Let's go, man. Let's go. Okay, I gotta put it all in just to get this up close. This is crazy. In memory of those seafarers who searched for Prester John from 1165 to 1645. So this is all during this same time period, right? 1500s, just between 1165 16, you know what I'm saying? 45, whatever. So Charles is launching off this Portuguese flow right from this Cape of Good Hope or this, Prester John scenario, you know what I'm saying? Monument. And they cutting through this Strait of Magellan and all that, man. So, it's pretty clear that just like he's hijacking these Nagas, he's looking for all the Nagas in America. He's looking for the land of the Prester. So remember that as we dig on Little Stephen, Estebanico, Esteban de Dorantes, Mustafa Azamori. It's not this little, so-called Latino kid that they want to show today on the cartoon. This is a straight up Negro, you know what I'm saying? This is Mustafa, and they're going to call him the first African coming over here, hijacking the Americas. They said the first African to explore North America. Really? That's crazy because I thought this was, Africa. Didn't they say this was Africa? And y'all got to make your mind up with this Moorish, philosophy, man. Because if this is Africa, then how is Esteban the first African to explore North America? I mean, I'll wait. I mean, you got King Charles popping off these Spanish explorations, Portuguese explorations. But then they act like Esteban and Moore is some type of captive of the Portuguese when they're all working together. So it's real, it's real hard to buy your story, man. Knowing that the Doom Diversus is popping off at the same time that King Charles is popping off. They want to act like, oh, Israel wasn't the target. It was the white Christians against the Muslims. Nah, because he certainly wasn't affected by it, right? I don't think the Papaboo was against him and his family. Why? Right, my night. So if it wasn't against this part of the Moor on Moor war, I'm just talking Esteban, and who was it? The Naga in America. The tribes of HaWah, the Chickamauga. This is who's being run up on by this Papaboo. Oh, but Esteban was taken captive and enslaved. Really? Mustafa Azamori? Or was he the Saint Stephen, little Stephen, Saint Stephen? Remember Saint Stephen that was carried by Saint Christopher the Doghead over the water back in 200 AD, they said? Well, put another 13 years, 100 years back on the timeline. Now you got Saint Stephen. And even today, they got the churches of Esteban, the churches of Saint Stephen, the churches of Estebanico, all throughout South America, Central America. St. Stephen's Day is one day after Christmas, man, on December 26th, man. Go get the drop. So he said, dang, is this their Christ? This Esteban, this Mustafa that led them to the promised land? Yeah. He had been referred to as the first great African man in America, but look how they gonna depict him in this cartoon. He don't look like no African. He don't look like no Moor. As a young man, Esteban was sold into slavery in 1522. Yeah, right, man. He was over there leading the charge. He's on the same side as King Charles V. Portuguese-controlled Moroccan town of Azamor on the Atlantic coast. It is unclear what his background was. Some contemporary accounts refer to him as a Moor or a Berber, while others call him the Black, Stephen the Black. Then they talk about him converting to Catholicism, which lets you know that he is Saint Stephen the Black. Esteban meaning Stephen suggests he been baptized. All right, so yeah, we're just talking Esteban, man, and this connection with Esteban and King Charles is all happening at the same damn time. Right after the dumb diverses, telling them to subjugate, take all your things, capture, vanquish, subdue all Nagas. Can't be Esteban and them because they're enemies of Christ, right? I mean, we are the enemies of their anointed, right? So they took our principalities, our kingdoms, our dukedoms, our dominions, our possessions, every good, movable, and immovable. And they reduced us to forever slavery. Not King Charles. He's not reduced. He's reducing these Nagas in America. And who's helping him? Oh, Estebanico. Yeah, the Naga. I can't make this stuff up. Esteban, also known as Mustafa Zamore, Black Stephen. Naga Stephen, Esteban the Moor, De Durantes. He's the first African American because he's from Africa. He's from Morocco. He's a Moor leading the charge into the promised land of Cibola, Cibola, Cibola. And so he was killed by Zuni Indians. We're talking to Zuni, HaWah Cool, because he brought them weapons of or decorations of death. He brought them false gods, false stories, trying to kidnap the women of the tribe and steal turquoises. He got put to death. So he was now this martyr, this Christian martyr. Some say he was the first Christian martyr, Saint Stephen. All right. Okay. So we're going to get some more on this, but just know this is what they're looking for. Cibola. Preceded by Estebanico, Nitza, Marcos de Nitza, ordered to explore the areas of Sonora and northward in search of the 7 cities of gold. We about to watch it, man. 7 cities of Cibola, Cibola. Restless over the slow progress of the friar and his support party, Estebanico was sent ahead of his advance scouts, separated by several days' travel from Fray Marcos de Niza. Estebanico approached Cibola, which is thought to have been the Zuni pueblo of Hawaku. Yeah. On his arrival, he announced his intentions to make peace, right? Treaties, huh? To heal the sick like Jesus. His birth, St. Stephen's Day, is one day after Christmas, man. And he's healing the sick. He's leading them to the promised land, to Cibola, the hijack, the Moroccan, the Moor, in northwest Africa, man. Or is he from Northwest Africa and he's leading these treacherous niggas right to the promised land? Because this is what they are mad about. They want your land. And they'll make a deal with the devil to get it. Papa Bull didn't affect these niggas right here, not these niggas. They straight, right? They cool. They Gucci. On his arrival, he announced his intentions to make peace, heal the sick, told the villagers they had been sent by white men. That's when they really got killed. They said, come on, now you really lie. Because Nagas control Nagaville. Nagas is ruling Nagaville. But it's a more and more war. It's a nigga on Naga war, man. It's a dragon on serpent war. But we're just talking Drake. You seeing clearly? They just referred to him as a Moor, man. And he was raised as a Muslim, and you really thought he was put in captivity by these other Moors, man? They can't put each other in captivity. They can't even put the hijack in captivity according to the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. Then he converted to his Christian name. Nah, because the Muslims and the Christians were rocking together to search for the Prester. We're just talking about the Eastern Cape of South Africa. The monument is dedicated to the mythological king priest Prester John and the early Portuguese settlers who discovered the area, or these Portuguese that were under, you know, this wingwam by Charles E. Boy. Yeah, man. Because it was discovered and first traversed by Europeans by the Spanish expedition of Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan. The Spanish expedition of the Portuguese explorer means that this Spanish crown is calling the shots from Portugal, from South Africa. They're taking off from South Africa. So when they're passing through the Strait of Magellan, you see Terra del Fuego, which they're still considering this lower piece of South America. And we got Terra del Fuego also on the maps over this, Antarctica flow or this Tarzanka flow. Fuego. Many times just put right here at this tip. Go get these Antarctica maps, map pack, man. So you see this Patagonia. So you're gonna hear a lot about this Patagonia. You see this Magellan down here. So, are they cutting through South America or are they cutting right underneath it? So they're saying that, this is supposed to be the Prester sitting with who? The monument is believed to be the only memorial in the world depicting Prester John. Wow. The only memorial in the world depicting Prester John. It consists of a large Coptic cross with figures in the central circle depicting Prester John himself and a Portuguese navigator. Because they're looking, so I know he didn't find them to be sitting down with him because they're looking for 500 years for the Prester, man. Talking about they circumnavigate. Talking about they circumnavigate, man. They drawing circles, man. They're just drawing circuits, man. They're not popping out of no other part of this circle here. And you're not on the ball. So they're just drawing, circuits around land. Whether they do a small circuit or a large circuit, they're still not even talking horizontal. They can't cut across no part of Antarctica. So what's the UN up to? What's the UN got to do with it? All they're doing is drawing circles, boss. They're just drawing circles, man. Yeah, we looking for Prester, man. We're looking for the Prester. They looking for the Prester. In memory of those seafarers who searched for the Prester. In memory of the seafarers who searched for Prester John. So they popping off from South Africa, looking for the Prester, heading up the Straits of Magellan, looking for the Prester, right? Because according to the Papal Bull, they got to look for the enemies of Christ. Oh, but Prester's supposed to be an ally to help them against the Muslims. Nah, they working together, man. They're all working together, and they're looking for 500 years at least until they find who? Oh, man. Oh, they found you. And who led them here? Estebanico. Little Stephen. Saint Steve. They're looking for Cibola, right? 7 cities of Cibola. The village elders, suspicious of his claims that he came from the land of a white man or white man because he was dark and resentful of his demands for turquoises and women. What kind of fool comes upon the Nagas demanding our women, demanding turquoises? So he got killed when he attempted to enter that village. I'm talking HaWah cool. Fray Marcos and the rest would arrive a few days later, but they never went into the village. They never went into this village. Marcos would return to Mexico to tell of seeing Cibola from a distance. He said, "We backing up," because they saw Cibola from a distance. Hey, man, just surfing the wave in the OG drop library, man. Don't mind us digging on his forbidden histories. Click the link below, man, and get all this great drop, all these PDFs that we put in here for you, man, and the OG drop library, man. So it's all happening, boss. It's all happening. You know, a lot of flat drop, a lot of Prester drop. And we got the new library and still got some construction going on with some new drop. But that's all right, because we already ahead of the game, man. We already popping off. We just talking the forbidden histories of America. They talking Cibola, Cibola, Cibola. We understand a few things about Cibola, Cibola, Cibola. Specifically, that there's a guarded secret of the land of Perilous or Cibola. And it's all over these maps. Cibola, Cibola, Cibola. See right here, Cibola. And it's real cool. I mean, you know, really to dig on it. Whether we're talking California as we know it, whether this part is the Baja version of California, like, you know, something like this. You know, is that California representing this part of California or this lower California? And if that's the case, then Cibola, you know, would be right around this Arizona territory, you know, going up into this Utah flow. And you see these little lakes and rivers here, and how would that compare, you know, to these lakes and rivers, you know, connecting Cibola here from this possibly Baja California flow. Follow the river up, count the cities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know if these are the 7 cities of Cibola, but it's Cibola, and there are 7 cities. And you know, how would that connect to something like this, you know, these areas here? We know we're talking Four Corners, and we know we're talking the land of the Prester. And even Daniel Lowe in Forbidden Histories of America has these maps with these Cibola, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities, which is Perilous, which is Promised Land. We got that. It's a guarded secret, man. What is it? Cibola, Cibola. Here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities. Pomegranate flow. And he's comparing this, you know, with, like I said, this Lake Kapala, man. And Lake Kapala is an ancient lake that was supposedly surrounded by these 7 cities way up in Utah. So if they're looking at the Cibola map from Baja, California, following, you know, this situation all the way up here, this would be Utah, all the way up, you know, this region. And would these 7 cities be around this region? I don't know. But they searching for it, and they searching for the Prester. And it's still popping up in Google Earth, the same little area, Septimania, 7 cities of Cibola. Yeah, man. So it's all relative. They still looking for Cibola. Love to Chef Connie, who read that man, what was that called? The Cities of Gold book. Coronado Expeditions, I believe. Yeah. Finding Cibola, right? They looking for Cibola, huh? Finding Cibola. All right. Oh, we gotta get into Lady Elchie, man. So it's a lot going in and it's a lot going on around this particular region, man. And this is why it's called Promised Land. And HaWah, New Mexico, all that is this is where the Coronado expeditions are coming in, Esteban's coming in, and all this. It's all happening. It's all happening. They just mobbing up in here. And if they come in from this direction, sweeping down here towards this Straits of Magellan flow. You know what I'm saying? That's the question. That's what we're digging on. Cutting right above Tar de Fuego. All the way up, cutting around, man. We know they're cutting up, man. We know they're cutting up. So let's get it. Let's fall back. Let's surf the wave. And I mean, yeah, you know, I went ahead and bought this series on YouTube so they can't even play with us on no fair use or copyright flow. I'm digging on it right from YouTube. We also got season 3. I haven't even dug on season 3 yet, so I do have that up. We're gonna see what kind of time we got to bounce around in season 1, season 3 as we pick this series back up because it's a very important series. You see how it connects. Esteban is the black man, so just know we're talking Black Stephen. You dig? Even though they want to make the character, you know, look anything but. So let's go ahead and surf the wave, man. And where y'all want to start? Season 3 or season 1? Let's belly flop in season 1, cut back to season 3. They got a whole episode on this Strait of Magellan. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to dig on it and see how it connects to some of this cartography and orientation as we dig on the mysterious cities of go. Hey, love to Freddie B. Lego.
It is the 16th century. From all over Europe, great ships sail west to conquer the New World, the Americas. The men eager to seek their fortune, to find new adventures in new lands. They long to cross uncharted seas and discover unknown countries, to find secret gold on a mountain trail high in the Andes. They dream of following the path of the setting sun that leads to El Dorado and the mysterious cities of gold.
Lego.
Children of the sun, see your time has just begun. Searching for your ways through adventures every day and night. With the glorious light, with all your friends in tow, you search for the cities of gold. Reaching for the cities of gold.
The cities of gold. Do. Ooh. Cities of gold. Cities of gold. Let's go. The cities of gold. Ooh, 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 ah, ooh, ooh. That's pretty.
The two children, Esteban and Zia, find out that they both wear the same strange medallion. The Esperanza has crossed the Atlantic and now they're close to the entrance of the Straits of Magellan, where wild seas and strong winds create terrible storms. Mendoza, the navigator, is about to spend 4 days and nights at the wheel. Find out that they both wear the same strange medallion. The Esperanza has crossed the Atlantic, and now the ship is close to the entrance of the Straits of Magellan, where wild seas and strong winds create terrible storms.
So they about to cut through the Strait of Magellan, right through that South America flow, right? They must be coming up in this Portuguese exploration flow from South Africa, 'cause they already right there at that point to cross over into the Strait of Magellan. Let's go.
Mendoza, the navigator, is about to spend 4 days and nights at the wheel.
Excellent. The wind is in the right quarter. Sancho, Pedro, keep the wheel steady no matter what.
The others didn't want to do any steering. They're all too scared.
They're right. This is the entrance to hell. It's dangerous.
And of course, you're not scared at all.
Me scared? How could you think such a thing? Me scared? Maybe you're the one who's scared.
And notice he just said this is the entrance to hell. Why wouldn't they be scared? Remember, they got the Drake passage too, the dragon passage. And they like to call the dragons demons and devils. So put it all together. Listen again.
Excellent. The wind is in the right quarter. Sancho, Pedro, keep the wheel steady no matter what.
The others didn't want to do any steering. They're all too scared.
They're right. This is the entrance to hell. It's dangerous.
And of course, you're not scared at all.
Me scared? How could you think such a thing? Me scared? Maybe you're the one who's scared.
Listen carefully to instructions.
I am listening, Senor Gomez.
Remember on our last trip, I thought you'd been washed overboard? I searched everywhere for you and found you hiding in a lifeboat.
Shake in the sails! The wind will help the sweat! Steady, careful! Prepare to come about! Full forward! Oh, Senor Gomez, please excuse me. I am truly sorry. Stop whirling this ship about, Mendoza! I'm going to get even with him. I do beg your pardon, Senor Gomez. This is not my day.
Mendoza, what's all this? Turning back? Are you afraid? Running away?
Take a look and you will understand.
The wind is strong and favorable, but take a look out there, due ahead of us. Look at that current. If we get caught in that whirlpool, the ship would just splinter. I think we'd better take another route. We don't want to end up as fish food. You agree?
Well, Mendoza, you third-rate navigator, couldn't you try to steer the ship a little more smoothly? Return to your cabin before your potbelly drags over the side. By the pestilence!
Mendoza is right. Stay in your cabin, Gaspar. If you fall overboard, no one can save you in this.
That's done it. We're in the Straits now. Sancho, Pedro, take turns standing watch and keep your eyes peeled.
Aye, sir.
See, thick, and it's fine as long as you're not scared. Have to hold on tight. You see, that's a.
So there they go, cutting through the Straits of Magellan to cut and get to the Pacific side where they found the Nagas. Let's go. And that's Esteban the Black as a Moor, right? The Moor. This is how they're depicting him. You know, they're gonna show Tao. You know, they couldn't have two copper-colored Nagas popping off, but you're gonna see that Tao doesn't trust them for some reason, because he knows about the Atlantis and Lemuria Mu War, the More and More War. But now we know what Black Stephen looked like. And the Zia, she's an indigenous copper-colored queen, princess, you know, so you already know all these is Nagas, man. Gaspar, Mendoza, all them, Spaniards and Portuguese, all them are Swarthy. This is a Naga on Naga war from the top.
Cars are wine leaves a great deal to be desired, and the rations have been reduced.
Now, don't be too demanding. Our provisions are not unlimited, and we have 2 more mouths to feed now. Don't forget that.
Ah, yes. Those 2 little urchins are stealing the food out of our mouths.
How do you do it? You've been at the wheel for 2 whole days and nights without any sleep. This is when it begins to be difficult, Pedro. Go and wake Sancho. It's your turn to sleep. Change is as good as the rest, eh?
Esteban, I'm frightened. Don't worry. I'm right here beside you. It's only a little lightning. Oh.
Mendoza! Hey, I think we're heading for a highway!
Hold on, Sancho. We're about to plow straight into it. Here, since you're already awake, give me a hand.
We smash right into it!
If this goes on much longer, I'll be covered with bruises. The ship's unbalanced. Something must have shifted. Oh. Oh.
And it's almost like they're trying to show us that some of these rock formations are dragons.
Come look. It's fantastic. It's breaking up. It's so beautiful.
Terra de Fuego. Right. So now they're cutting through this lower piece of South America, Antarctica flow. Lands beyond the poles. Let's go. Mm-hmm.
All the wheels steady, stop moaning.
Mendoza, what's the situation now?
Clear the straits at last. We want. Whoa!
Truly wonderful. He's been up there for 4 days and nights, and only now does he show how tired he is.
I know you're probably like, what they freaking out about, my naga? Where they come from? The sun didn't mess with them like that. They didn't see the sun every day. Like, it was a big deal for them to see the sun. Then they found you Nagas surrounded with sun and gold, and you wondering that you the Nagas of the promised land. HaWah's treasured ones, the remnant. Let's go. Here come Black Christ, man. Here.
Without any doubt, you are the child of the sun. You walked
The child of the sun. Zeus. Jesus. Hey, St. Stephen's Day is the same day as Christmas, man. Yeah. Or a day after. Y'all think this is play? And man, when's St. Stephen's Day? Naga, this ain't no play. Okay. Yeah, they venerate Saint Stephen. They call him Saint Stephen. Christian Saints Day to commemorate Saint Stephen. Esteban, the first Christian martyr. Why is he the first Christian martyr? Because the village elders suspected of his claims that he came from the land of white men because he was dark, suspicious of his claims, resentful of his demands for women and turquoises, killed him on the spot. And how we cool. Yeah, he's the martyr, right? He's the first African American known to have arrived in present-day continental U.S. Killed by the Zuni Indians. He's a martyr, right? He's a martyr. He's the first African to explore North America or North Africa, Northwest Africa. First Northeast African to explore Northwest Africa. I'm going cross-eyed. Just like King Charles V. He's gone cross-eyed, longing for the lands of Cibola, longing for the promised land, in search of the 7 cities of Cibola, Cibola, Cibola. Estebanico approached Cibola, which is thought to have been the Zuni Pueblo of Hawiku. Talking about he can heal the sick, man. Okay. St. Stephen's Day, right? St. Stephen's Day. Child of the sun. Put it together. They're venerating Esteban is their anointed. He's the child of the sun. That's why they slickly put it one day after Christmas. He is their Christ. He led them to the promised land.
It's because of you, Esteban. Without any doubt, you are the child of the sun. And you walked under the deck, the sun came out. Well, there you are, my friends. Now someone else can steer her to Lima.
Hey, you hear that? Even a clumsy oaf like you can handle the ship now.
Nothing at all. A couple of hours sleep, and I'll be fine.
Friends, we are now sailing on the Pacific Ocean. We have come safely through the Straits of Magellan.
Straits of hell.
Mendoza.
Watch your step. He's becoming too popular.
Look, Sia, a fish. And there are more there. Are they birdfish or fish birds?
They're flying fish.
Why do they fly?
Well, they're chased by bigger fish. When a storm is coming, that's the fastest way for them to get away. Over the years, they learned to do it.
What strange new animals you'll find in this new world. Fish that can fly.
Be careful. Sometimes they fly so high they hit you in the head. If you watch them flying over the ship, it'll make you dizzy.
Yes, that's right.
It's happened to many a sailor. Esteban, it was on this ocean near here that I saved you from drowning over 10 years ago.
And this is my father.
Yes, I took you from his arms, and all at once he disappeared.
So he's saying that he found Esteban already in the Pacific Ocean. Like I said, what do you mean he's the first African in Northwest Africa? They found him over here. He already knew the drop over here. And when you go back to the Moab flow, you know, Lot had a lot over here, right? Abraham's nephew had land over here. The Ishmaelites had land over here. We're just talking Shem. They led the armies of the hijack, man. Made a deal with the devil.
Oh, Father, I hope that you're alive and that you think of me somewhere. He is alive, I'm sure of it. I don't know why, but I feel it. He is still alive. Do you really think so?
I think so too, Esteban. Even though I saw him for only a few seconds, I am sure that a man of his strength would have survived even that storm. I saw his eyes. He was the kind that never gave in. I'll never forget when he handed you to me. At that moment, he pressed my shoulder as if to say, wait, I'm only catching my breath.
Then the waves took him away.
He disappeared in the storm. He paid dearly for the effort to see his son.
Here, kids, I finish us some meals.
I'm as hungry as a wolf. Hey, is this all? Sancho, the water smells funny.
Don't make things more difficult than they are already. We have to save on rations. Almost all the stores we had are gone.
When I think of Gaspar and others stuffing themselves.
And what do? They're always complaining about the food. About the food. And to make it worse, they get all the best bits. Well, the proverb says a snooze is as good as a snack. Have a siesta, dream of steaks.
I'm going to dream of steaks. Zia, what is it?
I don't feel well.
You shouldn't have drunk that water. Wait. What is it? Where are you going? I'm going down to the hole to look for some fresh water. No, Esteban, you mustn't. We have to save water. You know how carefully rationed it is for everybody. Don't worry. I won't take any of the crew's water. I'll get some from the officer's own supplies of drinking water. Who do they think they are? Esteban!
Meals are getting worse and worse on this ship, and every day they're smaller. We'll do a bit of fencing. It's good for the digestion. Are you all afraid of me, you little cowards? That brat isn't here. No doubt he's planning some new mischief.
Now, where can the water barrels be? Hey! What's making that noise?
If I had to stand in front right and back those up. What the devil's that? Who's causing all that commotion?
What's the matter?
Gaspar's putting Esteban in irons.
What?
Say you go then. I just got this dirty brat down the hole. He was trying to steal our food and our ration.
I wasn't stealing! I just wanted some clean water for Zia!
Oh, Sia. Well, now that makes it all clear. Sia is as guilty as he is. That right, Captain?
When we are out at sea, everybody aboard must accept discipline and respect rationing. They're only children. It's useless to speak to them of discipline and rationing.
Indeed, sir. Perhaps you are forgetting that these are only stowaways. If that was enough, they steal food as well.
The bad ones could eat a little less.
Who dares?
Captain Gaspar's rations is five times Vidiosa's.
Stop it, Sancho. I'm the one who's going to be in trouble. He's looking straight at me.
Who dare say that? Let the coward come forward. I'll finish him off.
It's my simple to attack children. That's your style.
Huh?
Attacking defenseless cheer.
One more word and it's overboard you go. All you weaklings. Cowards. Cowards. Those two are being put in the hole in chains for stealing food.
Oh, Captain Gaspar.
No.
Move along.
No! Let me wait!
Zia Esteban. Captain Perez. Daughter, now that we are safely through the Straits of Magellan, I shall not make any further comments. But if I may remind you, it was you who said that from now on, anyone at all would be capable of steering the ship. Therefore, I now have no further need of your services. I must trust that Senor Gomez and Captain Gaspar have plans for you.
And this very moment, I have prayed so long for this day. Are you looking for your sword? Who struck me? discount goes by. You trade before a lot of flying.
The wind is rising. It's gale force.
The typhoon is heading straight for us. If we're caught in it, we're lost. Back down everything that moves. Take in the sails. On guard, Mendoza.
Captain Gaspar, this is no time to start fighting. Lend a hand. Look there. Forget everything I said, Mendoza. I beg if you take the wheel again and save the
What
ship.
are you doing, Captain Ferris? You just said that Mendoza was a no. Where do you feel?
You may have noticed that the situation has changed. How do you expect us to survive a storm like this without him? Senor Gomez, you agree?
If every time we're in danger we have to rely upon him, I wouldn't rate our future prospects very high.
Mendoza, my friend Mendoza, I appeal to you to help me.
Sancho, Pedro, come here. Here we are. Pedro, Sancho, you two. Steady the wheel and hold on, you hear me? Every man to his post. Taking all sails, batten all hatches, down sails.
What's going on? The ship is creaking and cracking all over. Oh, Esteban! Yeah, you mustn't worry. I know till now I haven't protected you very much. I feel safe with you. Oh, Esteban, child of the sun, is here with me. I'm not afraid of anything.
Uh-oh.
The Esperanza, having got through the Straits of Magellan, was caught up in a violent storm. The mainmast has snapped in a hurricane. Will the ship sink before Esteban and Zia ever see the shores of the new lands of America, their new world? Find out in the next episode of The Mysterious Cities of Gold.
Ooh, my favorite part.
The Straits of Magellan are in the very south of South America. A long, narrow sea channel between Patagonia and the island called Tierra del Fuego. It's a
Fuego.
desolate, cold place with some of the harshest weather to be found anywhere in the world. The strange fears which this place produces, there's this weird graveyard. These are the huge bones of dead whales which litter the shoreline. Are they driven by storms to end their days here on this wild coast, or do they find their own way here to die? No one knows. Strong winds blow constantly from the north to clash with the ocean current coming from the south. In the huge cross seas, the ship can all too easily founder. The first man to sail through this channel was Magellan. He had set out with 5 small ships to find a sea route around the world. Only 2 of his ships survived to complete the task, and by then, Magellan himself had died of fever. The perilous Straits of Magellan remained for centuries the only sea route through America from the Atlantic to the Pacific, until in this century, a huge ship canal was dug across the narrow land of Panama. And put an end to that journey that sailors so dreaded through Magellan's Straits, where many fine ships were driven onto jagged rocks and wrecked. On the map, the names tell the story of those old brave brave days of sail, you may still find marked the Island of Despair and the Cape of Last Hope.
And last hope, they mean they looking for the Prester. That's their last hope, to find the Prester, to find this new world, you know what I mean, which gave them a new life, a new hope, man. And, you know, that was just a nice belly flop just to get our, you know, feet back wet, man, in the Straits of Magellan. And we got a lot more to dig on with season 1.